Susie checking my volume.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is 10:45 here. Hard to believe it is Tuesday, August 9th. We were last together on May 26th, I believe, and it does not feel that long ago. But we're glad to be back here. And again, we have an aggressive agenda here today. We're going to try and keep it to a half an hour. More importantly, we're going to try and assist you to make sure you have the best start possible to your fall season here before school gets started.
Bob, I'm not hearing you.
You're not, okay? Let me check here. Susie, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, Laura, I'm going to assume you're an anomaly because others are hearing me. So I hope that that is the case. So again, welcome here and to a number of new ADs that were 60 plus on the school year, I believe 60 new ADs welcome into this position. Phil Archer, welcome to the Minnesota State High School League in your first lead meeting. You'll get to hear from Phil here later in the presentation. And then also Lisa, I believe is her second meeting here with the Minnesota State High School League. You'll get to hear her later in the meeting as well with Charlie. Laura is going to manage our slides, so we greatly appreciate that. We also have our 0 week football teams that started yesterday. Best of luck to them. And as they get going, you're going to hear this throughout our meeting today. Health and safety are a priority. How we start our seasons, making sure we're minimizing risk, and again, getting off to that best start that we possibly can. And again, limiting that risk, making sure that our coaches are ready to coach and have that certification in place so you can have the best start that you possibly can. We do have an aggressive agenda today. Laura, if you can move to that slide, please. You're going to get to hear from each of us today. It is an aggressive agenda we talked about, but we hope again that it will assist you in starting your school years and your fall seasons to the best possible extent that we can. I'm going to turn it over to Eric at this time. Eric, go ahead and take us from here.
Thanks, Bob, and good morning, everybody. An exciting time of year as we get started in the new school year, and a great opportunity for you to lead your programs in your school. And this morning I had a great chance to hear the commissioner of Major League Soccer address a breakfast, and he shared that more than great players or great participants, the key to a successful organization from their standpoint is the connection between their teams and their communities. And so as you think about your leadership, think about ways in which your programs are connected back to your communities, your school community and the greater community that you serve. And certainly wish you the best and look forward to continuing to work through LEAD this year. Our board got together last week in workshop and in official board meeting and had 2 great days of dialogue and work and ultimately made some decisions. First and foremost, the school membership dues were established as part of a balanced budget. You can see the numbers on the screen in front of you. The $100 membership, the $160 per activity fee match exactly where we were 2 years ago. $2.25 per student based on your high school league enrollment is down from last year when it was $4.60. Ultimately, what that means is if you're a school of 1,000 students, that's going to be a reduction of over $2,300. If you're 500 students, you're going to reduce your budget for membership by about $1,200 or more. And so we're glad to be able to see that. Our league is in a much better financial position and looking forward to continuing to do great work with the resources that we have. Bob mentioned health, safety, and wellness, and it was the #1 item that came from our board in terms of strategic directions and areas of focus for us. And so as we look at those 3 strategic directions, there shouldn't be any surprises here. There are a number of things that we've been working on. We're going to continue to work on the sustainable financial model. We're going to continue to work on making sure our programs meet the needs of our students. But ultimately, these are areas of highest focus for us as we go through the school year. So we'll be working in the area of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. You're going to hear more about that coming right after me. Communications and what is it that we're doing and what information do you need? That is going to continue to be a priority. in the work that we do through the course of this school year. As we turn to the next page, a couple other items. The Prep Bowl. Many of you are well aware that the date moved back a week. The Vikings are playing the Patriots on an exciting Thursday night game. That means that US Bank is going to be in action probably up towards near midnight on the night before. That makes transition really, really difficult in any kind of a timely manner. And ultimately what we want is the best possible experience for all who are connected to the Prep Bowl, be it participants, community members who attend, the broadcast for those that are going to be watching from home. And so we worked with a number of groups to say what options might be there. And we did look at a number of them, but ultimately pushing things back by 1 week and participating in the Prep Bowl on December 2nd and 3rd, we believe is going to give the best chance to have the most successful experience. So really appreciate our partnership with all of those folks listed there to be able to make that happen. And finally, the Adoption of Programs Task Force. This is a task force being assembled right now around models by which we can maybe more directly adapt or adopt new programs into the Minnesota State High School League, providing metrics that will allow for their entry into the league in a manageable and more predictable fashion. And we also believe that it can have some other positive outcomes in working on things like presenting partnerships and helping people to understand what does that look like, and maybe what other activities or options out there might best fit under a presenting partner model as opposed to being a fully sanctioned model. So look for more information coming from that group as it gets assembled and gets their work started, ultimately looking to start communicating back with board as soon as early September workshop, and then through the board meeting in October moving forward. So those are some of the primary actions. Always please take time to check the synopsis after the fact to just see if there's any other board actions that might impact you as a school as we go through the year. Bob, I'll turn it back to you for anything I might have missed on those comments, and we can move forward.
Yeah, very good, Eric. And just maybe some things to reiterate. So thinking about that, the Prep Bowl date changing, again, as you are asked, really we're talking about 14 teams, right, that will be impacted by that move. And to make sure that that experience is viewed by as many, that includes our TV partners. So that is not a small task to turn that stadium over, but also to make sure that TV has access to make sure we're able to broadcast that. Eric brings up a very good point on the adoption of programs. We know that there are many that want access to the great work that you do, to what our membership is able to offer. And we will continue to hear programs that are seeking access, I believe, and this task force will assist with that. I'm going to turn it over to Charlie and then Lisa to walk us through Together We Make a Difference at this time. Charlie?
Great, thanks, Bob, and thank you, Eric. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the start of this 22-23 school year. Just want to talk a little bit about Together We Make a Difference. Lisa's going to share some specifics on where we're at with this program, but just a little backdrop. I want us to think about how we as ADs in particular have been called to lead when it comes to filling voids in Minnesota schools. Think about anyone can save a life, the importance of a well-coordinated emergency response, concussion education, and return to play protocols. Why we play, the importance of education-based philosophy that strives for changing lives through transformational coaching. These are just a few of kind of those historical examples of us as educational leaders stepping forward and making a significant impact in the lives and the experiences of our students in our schools. And now as we turn to this school year, your leadership is necessary and maybe never more important as you're planning for events and activities in your school. Now it's time to engage with student leaders, super fans, your coaches of individual programs by setting expectations for this season and for the year. And also it's time to be working with your administrative team in your school setting to plan for a swift response, intervention, and support when students or adults are exhibiting harmful behaviors. Since we've emerged from the pandemic, we've heard from our liaisons and school administrators at every level for support and assistance in changing negative behaviors, eliminating racism that's been happening in our schools, in particular over the last couple of years. In February last year, and now I'll turn your attention to this slide. 10 leading educational organizations in Minnesota, all listed here by graphic, came together and delivered a memo to the broader education community. And in that memo, they said a couple of things. Number one, they said that a safe, supportive school environment is paramount for all. And in addition, they pledged to launch an initiative designed to assist schools that really do three things: developing a model code of conduct, raising awareness about student conduct, bullying, gender, race, other issues that students today are facing, and three, by providing resources for implementing best practices on how to eliminate harmful behaviors and to support those that are impacted by them. This effort, entitled Together We Make a Difference, is just one piece of the larger investment and commitment for which we're all responsible. And this initiative is being facilitated by Paula Forbes and her team at Forbes Solutions. And I'm going to have Lisa now just kind of walk through where we're at with this initiative and what's to come and what you'll be hearing more about.
Lisa, you're on mute.
Unmute. Thanks, Charlie. It's great to see everybody and welcome back. I am excited to talk a little bit more about this initiative as we really focus on bringing student voice to this partnership, as we are committed each and every day to provide activities and athletics in a safe and respectful environment. What does this look like? In about June and July, Charlie and I worked to target some schools to provide student champions for this specific initiative. And initially we were targeting between 60 and 100 students. And we know that that timeline is sometimes difficult in June and July to connect with students. And so as we've worked through this, we've asked many of you to help, and I really appreciate you supporting us in this initiative and providing students. Last Thursday, we kicked off our student champion training, which is part of this phase 1 initiative. We have 2 more trainings on Wednesday, August 10th, tomorrow, and the following Wednesday. And our call is, if you have a student who would be really impactful in this work to be a champion for respectful and safe environments, we would encourage you to reach out to Charlie and myself, and they can still be a part of it. It was never meant to exclude anyone. It's always meant to include those student champions who will have a voice with their peers. And so if you feel like you have someone, we'd love to hear from you. And then phase 2 will be similar to something we do with our area meetings, where we are working with sites on regional meetings. And I really appreciate those ADs who are working with our sites to provide these regional meetings. And you will get more information on how to register your schools to participate in this event, probably at the end of this month to the middle of this month. And then phase 3 will be a late fall statewide conference that will bring together many student participants in this work to really come up with some good outcomes that we can intentionally hear the students' voice and move forward with continuing the good work that you guys do each day and providing experiences that students are really interested in participating in. So that is where we are at with those. Eric, I wanted to just give you an opportunity, if I missed something, to jump in or share.
Thanks, Lisa and Charlie. Great job of setting the table here with Together We Make a Difference. As was shared at the beginning, this is a partnership of a number of associations across the entire state of Minnesota. This initiative, as well as the call to action there, bringing our student voice to this statewide partnership and committing as a school and ultimately as a state to have activities and athletics in a safe and respectful environment every single day is a priority. And so I would encourage you to engage with your other administrators. Their associations are also a part of this. The league, because of our connection with our ADs, is more so the point group with this. But MASA, AMSD, Principal Association, coaches, ADs, all are a part this important work. And so please jump on board, get involved. That starts at the local level and continues through to the state level. So thanks so much. Appreciate that. Bob?
Good. Thank you very much, Eric. Thank you, Charlie and Lisa, for your leadership in this area. Imagine if every school has an opportunity to participate and takes advantage of that. And we know if change is going to occur, positive change, it begins with you and our member schools, and it begins with us. So thank you again to Lisa and Charlie. Part of your being efficient and resourceful tool here to get started with the year is our website. And we're going to have Laura walk us through just reminders and then changes when it comes to our website. Laura?
Good morning, everyone. I have 3 slides here to share some information with our group. Number one, as you logged into your dashboard in early August, you notice that it has been reorganized really as a result of feedback and a lot of input from this group. It had been developed simply by adding new things to the end of the list, and it was time to come back and do some organizing by categories. So you'll notice a number of sections in black with a gold underline, and then buttons for a number of different resources. They are in order by the number of hits each one got. So they're not alpha, but they should be so that the ones that you want or need first are kind of first in that area. The arrow here points to the website help guide, which also was revamped this summer. That was one long document and instead has been split into a number of page or bite-sized documents. So when you click on the website help guide, it again will take you to a number of links where you can find 1 or 2 page directions on a number of different things. So again, thank you for the feedback from this group. We continue to refine tools to make them the easiest for you to manage your programs. Another feature that has been asked for, rolled out this summer, we heard from ADs that they needed an easy way to find information about their school's section events. Until this point, we were really sending you to the public view, which really was not tailored for ADs and those in your office. There are now 2 ways on your dashboard to find your section events. The first one is the top red arrow in the activity administration area. The first button says My School's Section Events. When you click on that button, it takes you to the screenshot that's on the bottom left-hand side. And what that is a chronological listing of all of your section events. The name of it, the dates, who's administering it, who your tournament coordinator is. And then as brackets get added, those will be there also. And that should be ordered with the first one upcoming for you, which if you have girls tennis is likely girls tennis. That one will fall to the bottom of the list once that one is done. You'll notice there also are some filters up at the top. If you're looking for a specific one and you have a lot of section events, you can also filter those down. Hoping that that is a great tool for ADs to see a glance at all of your section events. The second way to look at section events is available to both you and your coaches. That bigger blue button on your dashboard that says My School's Sport and Activity Information, when you click on that sports and activities button on there, you get to that list of all of those blue accordions with the pluses on for all of the events that your school offers. Opening each one of those brings you to activity resources as well as section and state tournament resources. But we've also added up at the top information about the section tournament. And again, that is seen by both you and your coaches, one sport at a time. So I would anticipate that frequently as an AD, you would be using that My School section information because often you're looking for everything, all of your sports and activities in one view, but the one will provide you single ones to that, and that is also available to your coaches. Notice on the bottom right-hand side that tournament coordinator's name is a link, which takes you to a directory with contact information for that person. So again, make sure that you have found these 2 spots, share these with others in your office. and share the bottom right-hand one with your coaches, because that also provides information for them as they get into their dashboards. And then finally, just some information and reminders before we talk about coaches education. Make sure that you have your coaches in and registered for the correct sports and levels. Registering coaches is really a two-part piece. Coaches need to be a member of your school. And for anybody who's been on your staff now for the 3 years we've been in the new website, that's a piece that you can simply ignore. As long as they are a member of your school, they stay there. And then they need to be assigned to the right level for each sport. And on that help guide, there are 3 different one-pagers for each one of those. Make sure that they're a member, make sure that they have the right sport and the right level. I'm going to turn it to Charlie, who's going to talk a little bit about coaches education. And again, getting those coaches in and aligned to their sports gets them into the right learning for each sport. Charlie, I'll turn it to you.
Thanks, Laura. We go back to the strategic directions coming out of our August board meeting. And as you can see, health, safety, wellness is just a significant part of the lead meeting thus far. And as Bob mentioned, starting the season safely. Part of that health, wellness, and safety is making sure that your coaches are meeting the proper education requirements, some that are required through state statute, others that are required through board policy. And so just want to take a moment to remind ADs about those requirements, and especially to our 60 plus new ADs, an opportunity to be acquainted with those requirements and get them front and center. State statute 122A.33 requires that varsity head coaches be licensed or meet certain requirements in order to be employed as a varsity head coach. In both the coach and AD dashboard, you will find a link to register for the Minnesota Head Coaches course that is offered by the league. We offer that course seasonally on a number of occasions to assist you and your coaches in meeting that requirement. So please find that information there, class dates, the style of the class, whether it will be in person or virtual over Zoom, and then registration links are also found behind that listing of classes as well. The continuing education requirement, or CER, is in its 3rd and final year before it renews in the 23-24 school year. The only module that exists in there right now is concussion. Certainly that is going to change as we work towards renewal. And more information will come as we get closer to that. And then finally, there are annual coaching requirements, and each year coaches must attend. And I'll say that with air quotes, but those are virtual presentations, the general rules meeting. And then there is a separate sport or activity specific meeting. And a reminder that all of these education requirements are to be completed by the date of your first competition. And ADs, you can check progress of your coaches because this is managed locally by you at the school level by clicking on the coach education report under the in the education topical area in your dashboard. Just a side note, the document that lists all of the education requirements for coaches, ADs, cheer coaches, activity advisors, et cetera, can also be found in both the coach and the AD dashboard. So Laura, thank you for getting that into a more visible place for our stakeholders. And with that, I'm going to close and hand this to Phil to continue on with some health, wellness, safety topics.
Sweet. Thanks, Charlie. I appreciate it. I get the one topic that no one really wants to talk about today, but there's some important things in there that everyone needs to know as we're getting the school year going. So excited to share a couple of things with you. So as we talk about the topic of COVID, and as we progress over the last handful of years, especially over the summer, a lot of schools and a lot of other organizations have been varying in the ways that they're handling COVID and their situations. And so the one thing that I wanted to make sure that was clear here is that we are still in alignment with MDH. We're still using the 5 and 5 model. They're out for the first 5 days, and that they are then will be back masking and available to practice and participate in the following 5 days. So just throwing that out there as a reminder, is that's the MSHSL guidance that we are using that is from MDH. And I was working with Laura to make sure that all of the information from the requirement standpoints are available and easily accessible on the website. So if you're on your dashboard, you will see the little COVID resources with the plus arrow or plus button right there that's in the top center. Also, if you are on your main page as you log in, there is a COVID tab that is public that you can click on, and it will take you to this page as well. Now on this page, you've got 3 things that are requirements. That's your COVID notice to participants. It's your positive participation requirements, which I just made you aware about with the 5 and 5, and then your COVID interruption guidance. I'm not going to dive into those. You guys can click into those and look at them. They're very easily accessible. And then we've got a couple of other pieces in there that are highly recommended guidances and resources for you. So that's where they're located on the site. Get familiar with those, understand how to communicate those to your community and work with those. And if there are any other questions with them, you can always reach out to someone here, but these should answer most of your questions centered around COVID. So in the sake of time with that, I'm going to pass it over to Bob, I believe, for 110 and 111.
Very good, Phil. Welcome again to the Minnesota State High School League. Welcome to our lead meetings, and we appreciate your expertise on COVID. And we have been receiving calls again as you get started, what to do when COVID cases do occur. So again, Phil, thank you for stepping into that space. I want to go back just to Charlie and the CERs for our coaches. We talk about minimizing risk for our student athletes, but how do we also minimize risk for you as an administrator, right? Making sure that your students are registered, making sure your coaches and advisors have met all of their requirements, assists you in minimizing risk in the case of something catastrophic occurring. So again, that's something you'll continue to hear throughout this meeting. Bylaw 110 and 111. Thank you to those that did view the recordings. We're over 120, I believe, on 110 and 164 on bylaw 111. You will see more of those recordings coming out of lead or lead topics. Hopefully, again, that assists you, but that goes really back to our task force that looked at bylaws 110 and 111 throughout the second half of last year. Our board did approve changes in June to bylaw 111, and Rep Assembly did make changes to bylaw 110. Again, bylaw 111, the changes were all policy. You'll note that those are in italics where those changes occurred. Again, for a deeper dive, listen to those recordings. Hopefully, again, those assist you in getting started. Please be aware, according to policy of bylaw 111, that next week is when we will start to review those that are entered into the portal. So be patient on those that have already started to be more efficient in eligibility. And thankfully, continue to work with Susie up front. She will make sure that she's a clearinghouse really for all eligibility questions. She knows her area of expertise, and she will filter those that need to go either to myself. And we're also going to have Lisa Quidnow, again, relatively new to our office, working in the area of eligibility along with me. So do not be surprised on an eligibility question that either Susie, Lisa, or myself get back to you. Again, email is always most effective. If it is a phone call, we will return that phone call in a timely fashion. We're going to work with you as activities administrators. If we do get families that call, those calls will be going back to the school to make sure you're aware, number one, and make sure you have that opportunity to answer their questions first. If you can't, we'll assist you in doing so. One thing I didn't delve into enough in the recordings along terminology with bylaw 111 as we start to get into reviews. As you enter a review and as a receiving school and sending school reply, you will note either varsity eligible, varsity ineligible. Insufficient takes the place of incomplete. What that really means is the documentation requirements haven't been met. So again, insufficient now takes the place of incomplete. Hopefully that assists you and your parents. If there is a review that is waiting, what used to be denied, according to policy language, that got them to the eligibility committee is now considered by eligibility committee. That's a good thing for the family. They make it to the next step to be considered within that review. Again, we'll delve into more details at some of our area meetings as questions come up. We'll try and get, again, information out to you. We use my rule of 3. If we get that same question 3 times, it's either 30 or 300 that may have that same question. Eric or anybody else from our staff, anything I missed here along bylaw 110 or 111? All
No,
right.
You did a nice job. I think we move forward.
All right, we're going to keep going with quick takes here. Please be aware that our documents are now translated. Note the languages there that they are translated in. That includes our physical forms, sports questionnaires. Look for invoices coming out. Great news from Eric earlier in the meeting here. Please note that some of the responsibilities by our league staff have changed. And you'll find that under the directories. Again, it will assist you if you're asking the right question with the right person. Please note that that is there. Strength and conditioning has been a popular question. Therefore, it became a quick take today. If you have a strength and conditioning person leading that in your building that is open to all students or all student athletes, but happens to be a coach in your building, they can continue to work outside of the summer coaching waiver or outside of the season, as long as it is not sports specific and is available to all students. All right, so for that strength and conditioning coach, that might also be a coach in your building. Again, stay away from those sports specific exercises or training and more around strength and conditioning. Please note, again, part of the reason for our meeting today will hopefully make our area meetings more efficient, but one of the things we will discuss at our area meetings is the name, image, and likeness policy that many states around the country are adopting. Be aware that that exists. It is on your dashboard for you. If you need it, please call if you have questions, and let us know if you have a student athlete that is participating in name, image, and likeness. Again, we've added a lead meeting here from the initial schedule. Make sure you're starting your competitions on the right foot. So we will be meeting again on Tuesday, August 23rd. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Laura for our checklist before we conclude.
Thanks, Bob. And I'm going to track back to one of the quick takes that you had, the translated documents. We are still waiting for those to be delivered to us. We expect that to happen this week. And again, those will be coming in Spanish, Somali, and Hmong. So if your community is looking for those, know they're coming this week. And if you can delay a bit before you get those out to your communities, we'll get those to you as soon as they arrive in our office. Moving on to the checklist, and this again is a part that we added last year into LEAD. When you see the update come out on Thursdays, often the how-tos on many of these will be included there. So if there are things that you're saying, I know I need to do that, but I'm not quite sure how, our goal is to provide you some training on how to do some of these things also in the update. Things to be thinking about right now in the season as you're getting started. Make sure that all of your students are fully registered and eligible, that you've taken care of everything that they need to do before they begin to participate or practice. Again, make sure that all of your coaches have an account on the website, that they're members of your school, and they have the correct coaching role. Once they have that, then they should be able to complete their requirements. And in your CER report, you can begin to monitor those requirements. If you have not yet registered for a fall area meeting, please do that. The area meeting link is on your dashboard. If you are a new AD and have not yet registered for the MNI AAA MSHSL new AD workshop, it's time to do that. That begins tomorrow. Registration is through MNI AAA for that. Supplies that your school ordered, mailed late last week, and I believe the rest of them are going out the door today. If you did not order supplies, there's an MSHSL online store button on your dashboard. please jump in and get those ordered. And our goal is to get those out to you as soon as we can. Emergency action plans were referenced earlier. There's a how-to on emergency action plans in the website help guide, information to put out to your coaches, and then how you can monitor those coming in. Emergency action plans should be completed for each team. Oftentimes that means multiple if they are practicing or competing in different venues. Please think about the best way to do those to ensure safety for your teams, coaches, and yourself. And then please make sure you familiarize yourself with the weather competition for practice or weather conditions for competition or practice. That is a board policy document. It is found a number of places on the website. Probably the quickest place to get to it is on the handbook page, and it's down at the bottom there in a section of other policies. As you begin competition and practices next week, and some of our football schools have already started, make sure that you know that policy and are familiar with that as you're moving forward. Again, you'll see in the Thursday update, the email that comes to you, this checklist will be there along with a number of how-tos and directions for many of these. Bob, I'm going to turn it to you to wrap up.
All right, and we're gonna be done in 35 minutes. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We look forward to seeing our new ADs on Thursday in St. Cloud. We missed our meeting with liaisons here in preparation for this lead meeting, so we look forward to engaging with them here before our next lead meeting, and look forward again to seeing you at area meetings. Enjoy seeing those students back in your buildings. And again, best of luck with the start. I know many of you have or will be having your coaches / parent meetings. Good luck. Hopefully this information has been valuable for you, and we will see you on Tuesday, August 23rd. This concludes today's lead meeting. Thank you.